Ladies and gentlemen, 10 years ago, I started a YouTube channel with my family called the Scott and Camber Channel. And today I'm going to tell you why after 130 million views and 350,000 subscribers and a path to 1 million subscribers, we stopped creating content on that channel. And it's probably not for the reasons that you may think. Let's get into it. Now, before I get into us building our YouTube channel, everything that went into it, I need to take you back a little bit further so you guys understand a little bit more about me. When my wife and I first got married, we were very entrepreneurial. For the first 7 years of our marriage, we built 7 businesses and we had 7 business failures. Now, this all is coming to the point of why we're doing YouTube and how we got started and everything. So just bear with me for a second. And when we were in the middle of our 7th business failure, my wife and I decided to write a book about success. I know, kind of ironic. We were backwards. We were upside down in debt, completely didn't know anything about success other than we knew that if we picked ourselves up and kept trying, we'd eventually get to where we wanted to go. So we wrote this book called Fox and the Mountain. And it's a book about this fox and his journey up this mountain to get to this tree that offers this fruit that is more delicious than any fruit ever anywhere else in the entire world. And it's about his journey up there and all the people that he meets on his way. And he stumbles and he falls and he learns to pick himself up again. And he's got a mentor along the way. And he keeps running into these characters, which are symbolic of the people that we run into in our lives, who are naysayers, who are trying to hold us back. You guys know what I'm talking about. So 2010, 2011, we wrote a children's book, fully illustrated, and then we adapted it into an adult and teen version that's, yay thick, 120 pages or so. It's a pretty quick read. And it essentially became our roadmap for success. We wrote the fundamental principle for success was to pick yourself up and try again. And ultimately that book led to a lot of success in our business. We've built a multi-million-dollar business and we've just had a lot of incredible things happen to us because we followed the principle that we wrote in that book when we were broke. Again, kind of confusing, but there is a point to all of this. In 2011, I started traveling to speak about the principles from this book. And I would go to Rotary clubs and chambers of commerce. And in 2014, I was even flown out to Oregon to do some presentations and film a whole bunch of content for a really cool app that ultimately ended up dying. And at the time, my wife was pregnant with my son, my 3rd child. And I got home from that trip and my wife was like, we need to figure out a way for you to stay home, get the message out there without you having to travel. And I was like, cool. Yes, I don't like travel as it is, and so I'm all in. So we dove into YouTube, and I started creating content on this channel. You can see some of our older videos where motivational in nature, how to be passionate, motivation on the move. We had like a really cool little gimmick, motivation on the move. And then I did, pregnancy advice for men, a lot of like parody things, 5 things awesome dads do, just things that were more motivational and encouraging in nature. Ultimately, this turned into a family vlog because part of what makes me successful is my family. And so I wanted to share the principles that my family and I hold dear in our family unit that make us successful. And so I brought all of our family into it. And so you can start to see here, we've got a talent show, we've got, learning new skills, just all sorts of things that I'm starting to introduce my kids into. And then we had this video right here kind of break away for us. 10 years ago when my wife was pregnant, I created a pregnancy announcement video and it ended up going somewhat viral, 700,000 views. And it kind of launched our channel. This video brought us into multiple thousands of subscribers and it opened the door for us to step into this industry that is known as the family vlogging space. Now, 10 years ago, YouTube was a much different space. You could create content on a variety of topics and basically have an equal opportunity of any one of those topics taking off. So, this video, for example, 706,000 views. Here's a baby gender reveal, 940,000. Those are similar topics. Here's one. Yeah, inspirational leadership speech, 93,000 views. So this one did decently well. But as we were looking around at what other family YouTube channels were doing, we kind of fell into step with what was expected from a family vlog. Sharing our daily life, sharing things that were going on. We tried to record as much as humanly possible. And we did this every day for 6 months. 7 videos a week for 6 months. And it was very, very challenging, but taught me a ton about YouTube. Now, fast forward a year, and I decided to make a very creative video about a spider and my kids not knowing how big the spider was or exaggerating the size of the spider. And this video went ultra viral. 32 million views in the last 9 years. And it really started to skyrocket what we were doing. So at this point, I learned that YouTube could be a lucrative business model. We could earn revenue from it. We earned a few $1,000s from this initially, and it was great. It was supplemental income. And so we went all in on the family vlog space. Just so you guys are clear what that means. We designed our day around what would get us the most views. And unfortunately, anytime we would do something negative, it would bring a whole lot more views. In fact, I had to private a number of our videos because they were just not indicative of who I am as a father, as parents. We didn't want to showcase our children in ways that were negative. You know, we pretended to fake sick. I mean, you can see right here, faking sick to skip school. It worked. 1.6 million views. And I began to question, why are we creating this content? What is real in our life? And you guys, if you know anything about the family space, and some of you guys do, I mean, the family space gets a lot of heat. There are a lot of families that fabricate their entire life just so that way they get clicks and views. And that never really resonated with me. But because YouTube reinforced that type of behavior by distributing that content out to further wider audiences, it became a necessity for us if we wanted to be full-time YouTubers to play that game. Then a few years after Biggest Spider, I did this video right here, Swimming Pool Water Rescue Drills. Now this title was different when I first launched it, and I didn't have rescue drills on the thumbnail, and so it looked like I was just pulling my daughter out of water after she had drowned, and it got a lot of emotional clicks. Now, I was very clear in the beginning that we were playing a game, but in reality, we clickbaited an entire audience. We earned hundreds of thousands of views while clickbaiting. We've earned millions of views after changing it to make it much more clear that this was a training drill. But the point is it got us into this routine of creating dramatic content for our family in order to get views, in order to make money. And if you guys are parents at home, that's a really dangerous place to put yourself in. And it's dangerous for your kids because we're reinforcing a behavior of looking for drama. Now, I know what some of you guys are saying, hey, Raf, you do the same stuff on the Rafidi channel. And yes, I do. But I also take a lot more care in how I promote things and what I say and how I sensationalize things. So that way there is a tie-in from the title and thumbnail of my content to the body of the content. And that's indicative by looking at my first 30 seconds audience retention, which is typically around 70 to 80% in most of my videos. So you guys who are watching my content are satisfied that I'm delivering on the title and the thumbnail. Back in the day on YouTube, I did that a lot more loosely. If you guys look at some of the analytics from some of these videos, this one actually did decently well. Let's look at this one. You look at engagement, the retention graph, and it's 50% of viewers leave within the first 30 seconds. It's got a 23.7% average view percentage. Okay, let's go to this one here. This one's got 20 some million views, and check this out. Actually, let's just back it up a year so you can see more accurately. This one on average gets 2 minutes and 14 seconds average view. It's 12% APV. The reason that this video still does decently well is because it's gotten placed in what I call a rabbit hole category, meaning that when people are looking for drowning videos or rescue videos, they typically will watch one after another because they're interesting to them. But this one, well, that's pretty good after 30 seconds, 64%. But if you look at this after a minute, we lose 70% of the audience, 72% of the audience. So around this time, this was 2017, 2018, this is when we're earning enough from our YouTube channel to replace my income. Actually, my job that I was working at the time, which was an orthodontic lab, I was creating retainers for patients that were getting out of braces. My job had been sold, and so I was out of a job. At that exact time, our YouTube revenue started to increase, which offset how much money we were making at our business. So we went full-time on YouTube doing content like this. And it put us into this position as a family where we were forced to play games. We were forced to act. We were forced to create content that was not real in order for us to sustain our monthly income. And that took a massive toll all through the year of 2018. You can see right here, it's stuff like this. Heads up, 7-Up. Someone is a liar. If you watch this video on this channel, it's just fake and boring and disinteresting. And for me as a creator and as a business person and an entrepreneur, doing content like this, creating content that was fake, that was fabricated, is hard on my soul. And so all through this year, I mean, these are games that we played with our kids too. It's not like we didn't have a good time. We had a good time. But I remember on this specific trip, we were taking a trip up to Utah to meet some friends. While we were on this trip, I came to the realization that if I wanted to succeed at YouTube in this space for a long period of time, I was going to have to continue faking a lifestyle for a long, long time. And that did not sit well with me. And beyond that, I remember one day my kids coming up to me and asking me, why do we only have fun when we're filming? That was brutal, you guys. That was brutal. A brutal realization. Now, this was at the end of 2018. What made matters even worse was at the beginning of 2019, YouTube started demonetizing family channels for not advertiser-friendly content. So every video that we would produce for the first day or two, when we saw a huge spike in views, YouTube would flag the content not advertiser friendly, and you'd have to go in and have them manually review every single piece of content in order for it to get monetized. So our revenue went from $8,000 or $9,000 a month at the time down to about $1,500 to $2,000, which was not sustainable for our lifestyle. We could live off of $8,000 a month. Now, granted, hey guys, this is before Biden inflation and house prices were still super cheap. Our mortgage was like $2,000. It was actually under, I think it was like $1,700 a month was our mortgage. And then we had groceries and stuff on top of that. And little kids at the time, they weren't big. I got big kids now. So all of this forced us in the position that we needed to make a dramatic change and figure out what we're going to do. Otherwise, we're going to go bankrupt. Like we had no other option. And that's when the brainchild of Rafidi Media, our current YouTube agency, was born. And the circumstances behind how that got started and started to pick up steam are actually really kind of cool and miraculous, but that's a video for another day. What I really want you guys to understand is that you have options when you're on YouTube. You can choose to play the YouTube game, and it's actually really easy. I mean, I would say the new clickbait style content, fake fabricated content, is actually in short form now. The shorts are really taking over a lot of the family vlog space because short to consume, and it's a lot easier to fabricate 30 seconds of your day than it is an entire day. And so I think that short form content on Instagram and on YouTube is actually kind of pushing this long form, old school family vlog stuff out of the way. But the point that I'm trying to make is that you have options. You don't have to settle for fabricating your life. You can do that. I made a video. I showed you guys, I broke that all down. I made a video that I created, faked the entire thing, and got 2 million views on it in shorts. You can fake your way to success on any of these platforms. I think my whole mission with the Rafidi channel is to create content that I actually enjoy, that's like according to my own personality. Like I think you guys can sense, like I'm just kind of naturally sarcastic. I like kind of roasting people or teasing people, ribbing people. And so that's me. I don't have to fake anything. And I can shoot this content. I mean, I've been shooting this one. I'm at 22 minutes right now. When we cut it all down, it'll probably be 13, 14 minutes. And I'm building a channel according to my passions and my strengths. Whereas with this channel, everything was fake. Everything was made up. I had to make things up and sensationalize literally everything in order to get views. And it worked. And I think that's probably one of the biggest problems with social media, is that it's so incredibly easy to fake your life for views, for clout. But where does that lead you? And at the end of the day, for me, I wanted to live a genuine life. I wanted core values that came through in our content that weren't fabricated. And I wanted an income that wasn't volatile like it was on that channel. Now, I had a clear path to 1 million subscribers. I could have kept doing this type of content, playing games. I could have done more tornadoes. I could have gone all in on tornadoes or emergency rescues. I could have done more swimming. Like all of these things that led to tens of millions of views, I could have just doubled down on those over and over and over again and been at 2 or 3 million subscribers on this channel. But it wasn't worth it to me. You guys think about that for yourself. What's worth it to you? Is it worth it to you to play games like this, or are you living your most authentic self? I know this one was a little bit different, you guys, but if you like this video, I think you're really gonna like me roast vidIQ. Catch you on the next one later.